In a world driven by power and secrecy, we unveil the truth behind global events. In a world shaped by war, politics, and hidden agendas, we cut through the noise to expose the forces driving global events. From geopolitical tensions to economic warfare, from covert operations to propaganda battles, we break down the crises that shape our future and the mechanisms of control behind them. Whether you're here to uncover the truth, challenge the narrative, or simply understand the bigger picture, the Crisis and Control Report is your go-to source for hard-hitting analysis and fearless discussion. Subscribe now and let's pull back the curtain on power, conflict, and control. A new video will premiere every Sunday. Now let's dive in.
For decades, African nations stored billions of dollars worth of gold in vaults outside their own borders, told it was safer that way, that the West would protect it. But now, a storm is brewing. After Donald Trump slashed aid to African nations during his term, African leaders aren't just angry, they're done. And one of the continent's boldest voices, Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, is responding with a demand that could shake the global financial system. Give us our gold back. This isn't just about wealth, it's about sovereignty, control, and the beginning of a new African resistance. This is Crisis and Control Report, and today we're diving deep into a golden standoff between Africa and the West. What happens when African nations finally wake up and demand what's theirs? Let's get into it. When most people hear that African countries store their gold in places like the US, they're shocked. But it's true. Billions of dollars in African wealth sitting in Western vaults. Why? We've been told it's a security measure to protect gold from instability, coups, and economic risk. But here's the twist. That same logic is used to deny Africa its sovereignty. You want economic freedom? Too unstable. You want to store your own gold? Too risky. Meanwhile, the US holds over 8,000 tons of gold. But guess what? Nearly 90% of it belongs to other nations. Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, even Portugal. They all store gold in the US too. But here's the catch. When Germany asked for its gold back in 2013, it took 7 years to get just part of it. During his presidency, Donald Trump made one thing clear. Foreign aid is a privilege, not a promise. He slashed funding to several African countries overnight. No warnings, no explanation. And suddenly African leaders realized their wealth wasn't safe. Their gold was being held by the very countries that could turn on them with a single signature. That's when the shift began. Burkina Faso, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. They started asking hard questions. Why is our gold across the ocean? Why can't we access it immediately? Who really controls our economy? And Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He didn't just ask, he demanded. Ibrahim Traoré has become the face of Africa's defiance. He kicked out foreign troops, reclaimed control of natural resources, formed alliances with Mali and Niger to push back against neo-colonialism, and now he's taking it further, calling for the repatriation of Africa's gold. And let's be clear, this isn't just a Burkinabe issue, this is continental, because when one African nation reclaims its wealth, others will follow. Before we go deeper, if you're tired of mainstream media skipping these global power moves, let's be real, the West isn't going to hand over that gold easily. Because gold isn't just metal, it's power. And if African nations suddenly reclaim billions in gold, they no longer need Western approval to operate. They could fund their own infrastructure, launch independent currencies. We've seen this before. When Libya's Gaddafi tried to launch a gold-backed African currency, when Thomas Sankara fought for African self-reliance in the 80s, he was assassinated in a coup tied to foreign interests. So Traoré's move, it's not just bold, it's dangerous, but it's also necessary. Because the chains of colonization weren't just physical, they were financial. And now, Africa is starting to break them. Will the US return the gold? Will Europe resist the growing demand? Or will Africa finally say, enough, and walk away from the old system completely? This is Crisis and Control Report. We tell the stories they're afraid to report. Share this video, subscribe for more, and stay locked in because the world is changing fast. And the old powers, they're shaking.